For the City of Stoughton is now in session. The Honorable Matthew T. Rothe presiding.
Please be seated. We'll call the court to order at this time. Please remove all hats, silence all cell phones, and cease conversations. My name is Matt Rothe. I'm the Stoughton Municipal Judge that covers the City of Stoughton, towns of Dunkirk, Pleasant Springs, and Rutland. I'd like to go through some of the procedures that we follow here in this court. These procedures should have been available to you in the pamphlet as you enter the courtroom. We take pleas tonight. Your three plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty. If you enter no contest or guilty plea, I'll review your citation, and if there's sufficient factual basis, find you guilty and impose an appropriate forfeiture. A plea of no contest is similar to a guilty plea, but if a conviction arising from a no contest plea cannot be used against you in a later court. Let me use an example. Say if you're involved in a traffic citation, and what happens in the traffic citation, you allegedly hit somebody else, and you receive a citation. If you enter a no contest plea, they can't use that plea against you in a subsequent hearing if they sue you for damages. The forfeitures range from $20 to $10,000. Almost are within the $50 to $200 range. The state mandates we add cost to your forfeiture. For example, a $50 forfeiture results in a total cost of $124. I'll grant you 30 days to pay the fine. If you need additional time, please let me know. If you don't pay, I have limited options to collect. I can suspend your driver's license for a year. I can intercept your taxes. I can send your citation to state collections. I'd rather not do that. If you need additional time to pay, please let me know, and we can work out a payment plan then. If you enter a plea of not guilty, we'll schedule your case over to a court session. The next we'll schedule your case over to October 11th. At that time, you'll meet with the city attorney to see if you're able to resolve the case. Those of you who are facing traffic offenses should understand that you receive demerit points upon most such convictions. If you lose 12 or more points in any 1 year, you lose your license to drive. You will also be fined. I'd like you to be aware of some of your rights before entering a plea. You have a right to ask for a continuance. This means that you can request that your case be set over to another date, either to consult with a lawyer or for some other reason. This is a civil court. You're not entitled to a public defender, but you may hire an attorney at your own cost. You also have a right to a trial. Please remember your rights when considering your plea. Those of you charged with operating a motor vehicle while under the influence are entitled to a requested jury trial in the circuit court upon proper payment of fees. All our cases will be handled in this court with the right to appeal my ruling to the circuit court. And with that concludes my opening remarks. I'll now start taking initial appearances. Allison Downs. Ms. Downs, do I have your correct address on Hilldale Lane in Stoughton?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You received a citation for disorderly conduct.
Yep.
That citation carries a penalty of $124. Do you understand what disorderly conduct is?
I believe so.
Okay. Do you want me to read the statute to you? It's basically whoever in a public or private place acts indecent, profane, boisterous, unreasonably loud, and there's a few other reasons. If you want, I can read you the statute. All right. You understand? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. For all the court, we're recording this, so if you want to answer my question, just know if I make a mistake, we create a record. So if you want to appeal me, always best to answer my questions out loud so we can hear. All right, so that was a yes. The forfeiture range on this is $50 to $1,000. You're actually at $50 plus costs. You're at the minimum cost of the forfeiture range.
Okay.
All right, do you have any questions for the court?
I don't believe so.
Okay, now is the time I take your plea. Your three plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
Guilty.
Okay, with a not guilty plea, we'll schedule your matter for a pretrial conference on October 11th. Pretrial conferences are held downstairs. There will be a conference room marked pretrial conference. Second set of doorways will be on your left. Bring whatever witnesses or documents might help your case. And then if you don't appear, the city attorney will tell me you didn't appear. I'll find you in default, and then I'll find you guilty. So I'll impose that $124 forfeiture. So make sure that you appear. Bring whatever documents might help your case, and then I always advise people to go downstairs and check out the room before they leave. That way they know where it is. Okay, any questions?
What time is it at October 11th?
It is, what time, she asked? 4:30 on the 11th. Okay, with that, you can step forward, I can give you the notice. And that will take care of it for this evening. Thank you. Jasmine Brentmeyer. Just a second, Ms. Brentmeyer. Wow. Ms. Brentmeyer, do I have your correct address on Prairie Street here in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. You received a citation for operating after suspension. This citation carries a penalty of $124 and 3 demerit points issued your driver's license. Do you understand what operating after suspension is?
Yes.
All right. And the forfeiture range on this is? I like to read off the forfeiture ranges, that way you know what kind of penalty you're facing, although there's usually set amounts. Okay. $50 to $200. You're at $50 plus cost, you're at the minimum then, so 3 points. Any questions regarding the points or fine amounts?
The police officer actually told me, because I thought when you lost your license, it get redone after the time period that you lost it.
Okay, I can't amend these from the bench. So if you updated your suspension, what I recommend that you do is enter a not guilty plea.
Okay.
Schedule a matter for pretrial conference on October 11th, and then bring that documents into the city
Okay.
attorney. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Okay, we'll enter a not guilty plea. Just a minute, I need a glass of water. Okay, not guilty plea. We'll schedule this matter for pretrial conference on October 11th. Make sure you bring those documents, whatever else might help your case. Make sure that you appear, because if you don't appear, I'll find you in default.
Okay.
And then make sure that you check out the room on your way out. Then that
Okay.
way you know where it is. Okay, any questions? I'll have the bailiff give that to you. Once you receive it, that will take care of it for this evening. Eric Woods. Just a minute, Mr. Woods. All right. Mr. Woods, do I have your correct address on Taft Street in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. You received a couple of citations. One is intent to contribute to the delinquency of a child. That citation carries a penalty of $313. Do you understand what intentionally contributing to the delinquency of a child is? Okay, is that a yes?
Yes.
All right. Now, 50-5. The forfeiture range on this is $50 to $1,000. The $313 forfeiture is a $200 plus costs. So you're still at the low end of it, but it's a little higher than a lot of the other citations you've heard tonight. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions regarding this citation?
No.
All right. Your second citation is for possession of THC. This citation carries a penalty of $439. Do you understand what possession of THC is?
Yes.
Do you understand what THC is itself?
Yes.
Okay. And on this, here's my policy for the THC cases. It's $439. The forfeiture range on this is $50 to $1,000, and this is $300 plus costs. But what I do for these THC citations, if you get any type of counseling or either alcohol and drug counseling or alcohol and drug assessment, I reduce the forfeiture from $439 to $124. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions regarding either of these two citations?
No.
Okay. Now's the time I take your plea. Your 3 plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
Not guilty.
Okay. We'll schedule the matter. I'll accept your plea of not guilty. Schedule the matter for a pretrial conference on October 11th. It'll be held in the conference window downstairs. On your left, to the second set of, go through 2 sets of doors, and it'll be on your left. It'll be marked pretrial conference. Make sure that you appear that day, because if you don't appear, the city attorney will tell me that you didn't appear. I'll find you in default, and I'll find you guilty then, and I'll impose those penalties as we've discussed. And then make sure that you go down and take a look at the room before you go. That way you know where it is.
All right.
Okay, any questions?
No.
All right, I will have the bailiff hand you the pretrial conference notice, and that will take care of it for this evening. Thank you. And Josephov? Did I say your name correctly?
Josefa.
Josepha, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Josepha, do I have your correct address on Taylor Lane in Stoughton?
Correct.
Okay. We've received, let's see, 3 citations. 2 citations, 3, excuse me.
3?
The first one was for, hang on a second, was for non-registration of auto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That citation carries a penalty of $98.80 and 0 demerit points issued to your driver's license. Non-registration of auto carries a penalty range as follows. Just a minute. $0 to $200. And you're at the forfeiture range of $30 plus costs. So, so 0 points. Any questions regarding this non-registration of auto citation?
No.
Okay. Your other 2 citations are as follows. The first one is for operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated. Now that penalty, do you understand what operating a motor vehicle while under the influence is?
Yes.
All right. That penalty is as follows. It's an $861 forfeiture. Excuse me. It's a 6 to 9 month driver's license revocation, and that depends on your blood alcohol level. The way I treat it is that if it's a 1.5 or lower, it's 6 month driver's license revocation. If it's 1.5 to 1.9, it's a 7 month driver's license revocation. And if it's a 0.2 or higher, it is an 8 month driver's license revocation. And if there's any bad driving within I add 1 month to that, is how I work that out. If you're found guilty, you have to attend an alcohol and drug assessment. It's 6 points. And if your blood alcohol content was higher than a 1.5, I must order an interlock ignition device be installed in all vehicles registered in your name for a period of 12 months. And for an IID, there would be a surcharge of $50 in addition to the $861. Now, you also were given a second citation for a prohibited alcohol concentration. Now, that's basically what that says is that you're operating a motor vehicle with an alcohol level 0.08 or higher. That's the first citation. I said you're operating while under the influence. Now, there are 2 citations. I can find you guilty of both, but I can only impose penalties on one. So the 861, 6 to 9 month driver's license revocation, AODA 6 points and interlock ignition device only applies once.
Oh, okay.
So even though you got 2 tickets for 861, the total I can fine you for would be the 861 plus the $50 interlock ignition fee if you're above a 1.5.
So, I'll get 2 fines of $861?
No, you just one.
Just one, okay.
Just one set of penalties on that if
Okay.
you're found guilty.
Okay.
So.
I understand.
Okay. So I've reviewed all, and the forfeiture range on this is $150 to $300, but they also add a surcharge of an alcohol and drug assessment of $355.
What does the forfeiture mean?
Right now, you're facing an $861.
Yes, okay.
Basically, what happens is that $150 is what the fine amount is, but the state adds all kinds of costs, jail and crime lab assessment, court costs, fees, and all that. So really, the city of Stoughton gets $150 to $300, and the rest goes to different agencies.
Oh, I see.
And it's kind of my duty to inform you of
Just
that.
how it's divided up, the
Exactly.
payment is. Okay,
Exactly.
I
Okay.
understand.
So I reviewed. Any questions regarding the penalties as I've listed them here?
Thank you for explaining them well.
Okay, so no further questions?
No,
Now I take your plea. 3 plea options are,
not guilty.
okay, with a not guilty plea, we'll schedule this matter for a pretrial conference on October 11th.
Can I ask a question?
Mhm.
When is my license, does my license start being suspended? Or is it already?
I don't know anything about your
Okay,
case, but
okay.
normally what happens is you'll get a piece of paper that says notice of intention to suspend. That's an administrative suspension.
Okay,
That comes from the DOT, and it's usually 6 months, and you get that 30 days after you get
after
pulled over. After
the ticket
incident.
was issued?
Right.
Okay,
Unless you challenge the assessment, but that's a different
no, I
forum.
didn't do that,
Okay.
so,
So that will last 30 days then.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll schedule the matter for pretrial conference on October 11th. You probably heard again, but downstairs
Mm-hmm.
in a conference room marked pretrial conference, through two set of the doors on your left. Take a look at the room, bring whatever evidence might help your case, and
And
make sure that you
4:30?
appear.
Oh,
4:15.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, that will take her for this evening. Thank you. All right. Samuel Akale? Which one is it?
Okay,
Akale. Not even close. I apologize, sir.
you're right.
Do I have your correct address in Kenilworth Court in Stoughton?
Correct.
Okay. You received a citation for operating a motor vehicle without proof of insurance. This citation carries a penalty of $10. Do you have proof that you insured the car?
Oh, yeah, I didn't just have it. It was inside my glove compartment with other documents. Couldn't find it at the time.
Okay, you've handed me an insurance card, and for the record, it's through September 30th through March 30th of September 30th, 2017 to March 30th, 2018. I'll find you a valid insurance, and I will go ahead and, on the court's motion, dismiss this $10 citation. So your citation is dismissed.
Thanks.
All right, and you don't obviously owe any money or anything, and that will take care of it then.
Okay.
Thank you. Ebony O'Neill. Ms. O'Neill, do I have your correct address at Jackson Street in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. You received 2 citations. One is for operating after suspension. This citation carries a penalty of 3 points and $124 issued your driver, or 3 points issued your driver's license and $124 forfeiture. Forfeiture range on this is, I believe I said $50 to $200. So you're at the minimum range of $50 plus cost. Let me make sure of that. Yes. Okay. Do you understand what operating a motor vehicle after suspension is?
Yes.
All right. You understand that's 3 points, $124?
Yes.
All right. Your second citation is operating a motor vehicle without insurance. This citation carries a penalty of $124 and 0 points issued your driver's license. Do you understand what operating a motor vehicle without insurance is?
Yes.
All right. Do you understand the fine as well?
Yes.
Any questions for the court?
I have my permit and I'm scheduled to get my license on the 10th. I got to take the driver's test.
Here's what I would suggest: an enter a not guilty plea. Basically, go see if you can obtain your valid driver's license. I'm sure the prosecutor would be interested in hearing that information on
Okay.
October 11th.
All right.
All right, that's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and enter a not guilty plea. You've been in the courtroom the last 20 minutes. You probably heard what I tell people: enter a not guilty plea. But let me tell it to you again. Make sure that you attend your pretrial conference. This is held downstairs. Go through the second set of doors, and it'll be on your left in a conference room. Make sure that you appear, because if you don't appear, the city attorney will tell me that you didn't appear, find you guilty. And then bring whatever evidence might help your case. And if you have a valid driver's license, I'm sure the city prosecutor would be interested in that.
Okay.
All right, and that will take care of it this evening. Thank you. Adam Ritchie. Hello. Good evening, Mr. Ritchie. Okay, I've got few citations. Let's review them. First of all, I have your correct address in County Road MN in McFarland.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Okay. Your first citation is failure to stop at a stop sign. This citation carries a penalty of $98.80 and 3 demerit points issued your driver's license. The forfeiture range on this is $20 to $40, and this is a $30 fine plus cost. You're right in the middle of that. Forfeiture
Okay.
goes only 20 to 40. It's a pretty narrow range.
All right.
So you understand what failure to stop at a stop sign is?
Yeah, it'd be failure to stop. I mean, I
Hang on,
didn't stop.
I can't hear any of the facts. The prosecutor's not the case. I just take the pleas. I want to make sure that you understand what it is.
Yeah, I didn't stop.
Okay.
That's what it means.
All right. And, okay, that's one, and then, excuse me for a sec, the other two citations. Are possession of THC. That carries a penalty of $439. Do you understand what possession of THC is?
Yeah, it means I was carrying marijuana on my person.
Right, THC is the active ingredient in marijuana, correct.
Absolutely.
And 439, here's what I do for these. If you attend any type of alcohol and drug assessment or class or counseling, what I do is I reduce the forfeiture from $439 to $124 instead. So,
Okay.
and then the other citation I have is obstructing. Make sure I get this right. Resisting or obstructing an officer, that citation carries a penalty of $250. The forfeiture range on both the marijuana and the resisting obstructing would be $50 plus costs. So you're at, marijuana is $300 plus costs, and then the resisting is about $170 plus costs. Okay. Understand? Have any questions regarding any of these citations?
No, not really.
Okay. Now's the time I take your plea. 3 plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
No contest.
Okay. You understand with a no contest plea, if there's factual evidence in the police reports, I'll find you guilty?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your pleas.
All right.
Okay. I have reviewed the police reports. I do find a factual basis, accept your no contest plea, and find you guilty of all 3 citations.
Awesome.
All right. For the possession of THC, that's the one we talked about. Are you interested in taking any type of THC counseling or any type of class?
No.
Okay. I mean, my logic is if you're before me, I'm usually the first step in the process. So if there's any type of issues, I'd rather have you gone through an assessment before?
I mean, I'm just ready to set up a payment plan and be done with all this.
Okay, that's fair enough then. So how much time would you need to pay for the amounts? And the total would be $787.80. What do you propose as a payment plan?
I could do like 20 a month, 25 a month.
Okay, why don't we say 25 a month?
All right.
That'll take you a few years.
That's fine.
Yeah. No, it will. I mean, it'll take, because you can pay $300 a month. But why don't we start with that, and then if you want to pay extra for that, I'll let you know. But we'll accept $25 a month, and then
All right, thanks.
going forward. If you miss any payments, I'll probably have you come in and we can discuss the payment plan again. But make sure
All
that
right.
you make that payment.
Yep.
Okay. I'll give you those in just a minute. Okay. What did you learn from these incidents?
Nothing really.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, am I going to see you back here again?
It all depends. I mean, probably not.
Okay. Give me some hope here. Why won't I see you again?
You won't see me again because you won't see me again.
Okay. Fair enough then. So.
All right.
Okay. We're going to mail these to you, so we'll send a payment plan, we'll send the payment plan information to you, so we'll send it
All
to you
right.
at that address then.
All right, thank
That'll
you.
take care of it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Moises Rollins. Mr. Rollins, do I have your correct address on East Main Street in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right, you received a few citations. Let me review each of them. Okay. Okay, your first one is hit and run property adjacent to highway. This citation carries a penalty of $187 and 0 points issued to your driver's license. Do you understand what hit and run property adjacent highway is? All right. Now, forfeiture range on that citation is $0 to $200, and you're at $100 plus costs. You're in the middle of the forfeiture range for that. All right, no questions. The next citation is failure of operator to notify police of an accident. That citation carries a penalty of $313 and 6 points issued to your driver's license. You understand what failure of operator to notify police of an accident would be?
Yes.
All right. Third citation is unsafe backing of a motor vehicle. That citation carries a penalty of $98.80 and 2 demerit points issued to your driver's license. You understand what that is as well?
Yes.
Any questions for the court?
Nope.
Now's the time I take your plea. 3 plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
Not guilty.
Okay, not guilty plea will schedule the matter for pretrial conference on October 11th. Make sure that you bring whatever documents might help your case. Make sure that you appear, because if you don't appear, the city attorney will tell me that you didn't appear. I'll find you default and I'll find you guilty. Again, downstairs to the second set of windows in a conference room, I always advise that people take a look at that before they leave. Any questions?
Nope.
All right, the bailiff will give you the pretrial conference notice, and with that, that will take care of it for this evening then. Thank you. Jagannath Jackson. Mr. Jackson, how do you say your first name?
Pronounced Jagannath.
Jagannath?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jagannath, do I have your correct address in Hanson Road in Stoughton?
Yes, sir.
All right. You received 3 citations. The first one is operating motor vehicle without or after suspension. This citation carries a penalty of $124 and 3 demerit points issued to your driver's license. You understand what operating after suspension is?
Yes, sir.
All right. Second citation is operating motor vehicle without insurance. That citation carries a penalty of $124. You understand what operating motor vehicle without insurance is?
Yes, sir.
All right. Third citation is possession of THC, the active ingredient in marijuana. Make sure I got that here. That citation carries a penalty of $439. And again, if you receive alcohol counseling or attend an alcohol and drug assessment, I reduce the forfeiture from $439 to $124 on that. You understand what that is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions regarding these citations?
No, sir.
Now's the time I take your plea. Your 3 plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
Guilty.
Okay. You understand with a guilty plea, I must find you guilty?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me read the police reports. I want to make sure there's a factual basis for your plea. right. I have reviewed the police reports. I do find a factual basis for your plea. Accept your guilty plea and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
No.
Okay. Well, would you be interested in completing either an alcohol counseling or alcohol?
Completed one of those a couple years back. I don't have no problem with marijuana, so no.
I mean, it can reduce your forfeiture from 439 to 124 if you do.
How long is the assessments?
I can give you some information. I'll give you 90 days to either take the assessment or pay. Is that, or how much time do you need to pay for these citations?
With child support all my life.
Yeah, okay. Well, how about this? I'll give you 90 days to complete the assessment, and then if you need any further time after that, just let me know, and then you can come in and see, and we can work out at that time. I want you to complete the assessment, the reduce your forfeiture. With the rest of these, we can, why don't we calendar this for 90 days? We'll calendar this for 90 days, and then we'll see how you're doing on the fine at that point.
Thank you.
All right. All right, do you want to send them that information?
I have it just already.
Okay.
Just 1 minute.
Sure. Be just 1 minute, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Leah Jensen? Ms. Jensen, do I have your correct address on Pine Street in Brooklyn?
Yes.
That'd be Brooklyn, Wisconsin. You've been cited for theft for less than $500. That citation carries a penalty of $187. Again, this is $50 to $1,000. You're at $100 plus costs. You understand that?
Yes.
In addition, I can order restitution. You know what restitution is?
I do not.
Okay. Restitution is if say if I went into a gas station, I took a candy bar and was cited for it, and the gas station's out the candy bar, I can order that you pay for the value of that candy bar as well. Back to I can pay, that you have to pay the item that was taken to the merchant, or basically the gas station. Understand that? Okay. Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right. And that's in addition to the $187.
All right.
Okay, I understand what theft is.
I do.
Any questions for the court?
No.
Now's the time I take your plea. Your 3 plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
Guilty.
Okay. You understand with a guilty plea, I must find you guilty?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for you. Okay, I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your guilty plea, and I'll find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
No.
Okay. I do find that the forfeiture of 187 is appropriate in this, and I do have a restitution report in front of me that says the amount value was $8.57. So I'm going to order that you pay $8.57 back to Quick Trip West, and I also order that you pay $187. The $8.57 will get paid first, and then the $187 will get paid when you can, actually, if you give me a lump sum payment, or even a payment, I have to pay the merchant first. That's how
Okay.
it works. How much time do you need to pay?
I have no clue yet.
Okay, I'll give you 60 days.
Okay.
And then I'll give you 60 days, and then if you can't pay within 60 days, make an appointment. You know, you can call my clerk and set up an appointment. But if you do not, then I have to either intercept your taxes or, you know, suspend your driver's license.
Okay.
Or, actually, I can't do that for that. So I can do intercept your taxes and then turn your fine over to state collections, and they can They can garnish your wage, they can do a number of things. So it'd be better off if, I'd much rather work with you and pay for that as well.
All right.
So, what's the call? Yeah, yeah. Okay, any further questions?
No.
And with that, that will take care of it for this evening then.
All right, thank you.
Richard, vouchers?
How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you, sir?
Okay.
Good. Mr. Wouters, did I say that correctly?
Walters?
Wouters, okay. Do I have your correct address on Russet Road in Madison?
Yeah, no, we on Anton Drive,
Okay.
5152 Anton Drive, apartment 110. Okay,
Okay,
apartment 110,
okay. I think my clerk has that address, thank you.
okay.
Mr. Wouters, you've been cited for operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of an intoxicant. Do you understand what that is?
No, because I wasn't operating the car.
Okay. You weren't operating at all, so, well,
No, I was sleeping,
all right.
and,
Wait, sir, I can't, here's the problem, is that I can't hear your case, the prosecutor isn't here. If I hear too much about it, what will happen is I'll have to recuse myself from it, and you have to go hear it in another courtroom.
Oh,
So,
okay.
you haven't told me enough, but it sounds like you want to contest this case. You want to enter a not guilty plea. Is
well,
that
you know, I'm
correct?
having a hard time getting out here because I go to New Start.
Okay, well, I tell you what, let me enter a not guilty plea. If you enter a not guilty plea, you can meet with the prosecutor, and the prosecutor, if you live in Madison, what I do for these is that we have a pretrial conference time for a lot of people because it's convenient here, but the prosecutor has a number that you can give her a call as well.
Okay.
So what you can do is call and set up a time where you can kind of discuss this over the phone.
Okay.
And any defenses you might have then. So I think that might work out best. So that's what
Okay.
we'll do. We'll enter
Okay.
a not guilty plea. We'll schedule the pretrial conference for October 11th, but make sure that if you can't make it on the October 11th, said that you're having some difficulties, call the
Yes.
prosecutor on this number and see if you can work out a time.
Okay, thank you.
October 11th at 4 p.m., but the phone number he talked about calling is on the back right there.
Oh, okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay, I'll make an announcement to court. All right, we've filled up our pretrial conference allotments for October 11th. Next pretrial conference date will be October 18th. What number was I on? That was 10, so let's be try 11. Actually, we're doing well. Florida Robinson? Miss Robinson, do I have your correct address on Main Street in Stoughton?
Yes,
Okay. You received a citation for retail theft, less than $500. This citation carries a penalty of $187. In addition, do you understand what retail theft is?
yes,
All right. In addition to the 187, I can also find you guilty of restitution. You know what restitution is?
yes,
That is that if you have to pay the merchant or whoever you took the value of the merchandise. You understand that?
yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions for the court regarding retail theft? Any questions at all for me?
I know I can't afford $100 and something dollars.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I mean,
So
let
other
me
than
take
that,
your
no.
let me take your plea first.
No
Plea
contact.
3. I'm sorry.
No contact.
Would you like me to explain the plea options again?
Yeah.
Okay. There's 3 plea options. It's guilty, no contest, or not guilty. Guilty, you're admitting your guilt. No contest means that you're not necessarily admitting your guilt, but you don't want to go through a trial and that you're basically admitting to the court that you want to be fined and face the penalties. A not guilty plea means that you don't believe that you did it or the city would be able to prove your case, and that you can either schedule the matter for a trial then.
Can I say no content?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. Are you sure you want to enter no contest plea?
Well,
All right. Let me, let me see, you've said no contest plea. Let me review the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Okay. Okay. I remember. Yeah. All right, Ms. Robinson, I've reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your no contest plea, accept your no contest plea and find you guilty. I'll note that the property was able to receive the items and able to restock the items. There is no restitution in this case. I remember the last time that you appeared in front of court, that you were unable to pay. What I'd like to do is maybe schedule this for a restitution hearing. Oh. Did you do community service last time?
Yes.
Would you like to do community service again?
Or either if they can reduce it, I can at least on the third pay $50. Other than that, yes, I could do community service.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you're asking me to reduce the forfeiture amount to what?
I can afford to do the $50 on the third, though.
I don't want to reduce the, I want to keep it at $187.
Okay, well, I have to do the community service.
Yeah,
if they let
how
me.
much time would you need to do the community service?
I don't know, because first I have to see if I can find the church to let me come back and do it there.
Okay. Be 23 hours community service. I'll tell you what, let's do 90 days to do the community service. And then if you can't get it in the 90 days, we'll schedule another appointment for you to come back and we can talk about it then.
Okay, so first I have to see if I have to call the lady on Monday to see if she let me come and do it there at the church over there.
Right, because the last time I in court, I found you that you weren't able to pay.
Right.
And your financial situation has not changed.
Still the same.
Okay. I found you indigent last time, so I tell you what. But in lieu of going through another indigency hearing, if you can. I'll give you the opportunity to complete the 23 hours community service in 90 days. If you can't complete it at that point, we'll schedule you back for another hearing.
Okay.
All right, will that work?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll give you the community service documents in just a minute if you want to wait.
To get it done, so Monday's well within that time.
To call her to find out, because I gotta find somewhere to do it. Thank you. We done?
Emily Schauder. Ms. Schauder, do I have your correct address at Tower Drive in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. You received a citation for underage drinking. This citation carries a penalty of $187. You understand what underage drinking is?
Yes.
All right. In addition to $187, I can suspend. This is your first offense, correct?
Yes.
Okay. In addition to the $187, I can also suspend your driver's license for up to 90 days, and I do suspend your driver's license for 90 days. However, what I do then, if you complete an alcohol or drug assessment or alcohol and drug counseling within 90 days, there will be no driver's license suspension. You understand that?
Yes.
All right. Any questions for the court?
No.
Now's the time I take your plea. Your three plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
Guilty.
Okay. You understand with a guilty plea, I must find you guilty?
Yep.
Let me review the police report for determine a factual basis. I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, accept your guilty plea and find you guilty. Are you interested in taking the alcohol and drug assessment or alcohol and drug assessment counseling?
Yeah, when the
I-
police like notified the school, they informed me that I could do that to reduce my suspension from a sport.
Yeah.
So like I already have that scheduled. Does that like count?
Yeah,
for
that'd be
this too?
fine.
Okay.
Just submit that proof to me in the court, and I'll consider that the counseling then. So if you complete that, I'll give you 90 days to do that, but if you got it, do it sooner rather than later. That way you don't forget about it.
Okay.
Because what I do is I'll suspend your driver's for 90 days. However, I'll stay that for 90 days until in other words, I'm calling a timeout on it. If I receive proof that you completed the assessment or the either the assessment or the any alcohol counseling, then there will be no driver's license suspension.
So it's not suspended right now?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll give you 90 days to do that, and I'll also give you 90 days to pay the 187.
Okay.
Okay. How old are you?
17.
Okay. Consider an adult in court at 17, as strange as
Okay.
that may seem. So, okay. 90 days to pay for the 187. Any questions?
When would it be off my record?
What do you mean?
Like the offense?
We count them as per year. So as far as you can get another one in a year. As far as, what do you mean by record? I mean, you've been found guilty, so it's just like,
Yeah.
it will always be on your record then.
Okay.
So, I mean, in other words, but this is a civil violation, it's a municipal court violation, so it doesn't appear on CCAP in the computer, but if somebody wants to call a court and say, was she ever cited for this, we'll say yes.
Okay.
Because you are considered an adult at 17 under state law, so. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Any others?
No.
All right, that will take care of it for this evening then. Thank you. It's still on here. Ashley Elizabeth McDonald. Ms. McDonald, do I have your correct address on Monroe Street in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. You received a citation for criminal damage to property. It's a little bit of a misnomer because it's still considered a civil violation here, and the penalties are $187. In addition, I can order restitution. So if you cause damage to somebody else, I can order that you pay back that person the damage that you caused, in addition to $187. Forfeiture range on this is $50 to $1,000. You're at $100 plus costs. You're on the low end of the range. Okay. Any questions regarding criminal damage to property?
No.
Any questions regarding the fine or anything else?
No.
Any questions for the court?
Nope.
Now's the time I take your plea. Guilty?
Contest.
Sorry?
No contest?
You understand with no contest plea, there's a factual basis in the police report, I'll find you guilty?
Yes.
All right, let me read the police report for factual basis. Okay. All right, I received, hang on, let me receive this first. Before I submit the, I just want to make sure that you understand that the restitution on this amount is I can order restitution up to $4,000. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. You still want to proceed with a no contest plea, knowing that it could be that much of a restitution?
You can't tell me how much the actual restitution is?
I can actually. What, can I tell you the restitution amount? Well, I've submitted a report, and it's substantial, but I would not order you to pay that now. I would have a hearing on it if need be.
Okay.
Would you still wish to continue with the no contest plea?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yes.
Okay. Let me read the police report. Okay, I have read the police report. I do accept, I do find that there are factual basis, accept your no contest plea and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
Just let her know it was a really stupid mistake, and apologize for taking your time.
Okay. I do find the forfeiture of $187 to be appropriate here, just given this. Can I see that again? I did receive a restitution request for $2,031.93, but I'm not going to order that. What I will likely do is I'll probably schedule this for a restitution hearing. In other words, that will be a separate hearing where we'll have a hearing where they can present the evidence, and you can ask them questions, and I can decide about the total amount owed then.
Okay.
Will be the amount then. So, and with that, I think that's it. So, for the $187, how much time do you need to pay that?
90 days.
Okay, I'll give you 90 days to pay for that citation. If I will probably have you expect a letter from our court, just setting the matter for a restitution hearing then.
Okay.
So, you understand what that is? They'll have to come in and prove their cases, basically. So.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we'll do. All right, with that, no further questions. I'll hand the bailiff will hand you those documents, and that will take care of it this evening then. Thank you. Christine Auberg. Do I have your correct address, Ms. Auberg, at Main Street in Stoughton?
Yep.
All right. Well, you received a citation for underage drinking between 17 and 20, second offense. This citation carries a penalty of $313. In addition, I can suspend your driver's license for up to a year, since it's a second offense within a year. However, my policy is to suspend your driver's license for 90 days. But if you complete an alcohol and drug assessment class or counseling, there will be no driver's license suspension. You'll still be facing a forfeiture of $313.
Okay.
Forfeiture range on this, on a second offense, is as follows. Yeah, number 17. What the hell? This is wrong. It's $200 to $300. So you're actually at the minimum of $200 plus cost. Okay. You understand what underage drinking is?
Yes.
All right. You understand the driver's license suspension and the alcohol assessment?
Yes.
Any questions for the court?
No.
Now's the time I take your plea
No
guilty?
contest.
So you understand that with no contest plea, if there's a factual basis to report, I'll find you guilty?
Yes.
All right. Let me read the police report for a factual basis. Okay, I read the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, accept your no contest plea and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
If I'm turning 21 in a couple days, does that have anything to do with my
No.
sentence? No. Okay.
It's unfortunate it's happened when it did, but you're still 20 at the time.
Yes.
Okay.
And
When do you
if I
turn-
wasn't drinking on property, it was at the bowling alley.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. That's why there's still a factual basis for it.
Okay.
So.
Perfect.
All right, I do find $313 to be appropriate, and you have your driver's license?
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you 90 days to complete an alcohol assessment or counseling, and then once you complete that, I'll suspend your driver's license for 90 days, but I'll call a timeout on that for 90 days.
Okay.
So if you complete it and get it to me 90 days, there'll be no driver's license suspension then.
Okay.
All right, any questions?
No.
That will take care of it this evening then.
Okay.
Thank
And then
you.
how many days do I have
For what?
to pay for the fine?
90 days.
90 days? Okay, perfect.
All right, thank you. Dalton Johnson. Mr. Johnson, do I have your correct address on Academy Street in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right, you received a citation also for underage, or for underage drinking, 17 to 20. First offense, this citation carries a penalty of $187.
Yes.
In addition, for these underage drinking offenses, I can suspend your driver's license for 90 days, and I do suspend your driver's license for 90 days. However, if you get any alcohol counseling or alcohol or drug assessment within 90 days, I don't suspend your driver's license. You understand that?
Yes.
Any questions for the court?
No.
All right. Now's the time I take your plea. 3 plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
No contest.
You understand with no contest plea, I must find you guilty?
Yes.
All right. Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Okay. I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis, accept your no contest plea, find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I sign the sentence?
Can I take the class for alcohol?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank
I'll
you.
give you 90 days to do that. Fine will still be the same at 187.
Yes.
But I'll give you 90 days to complete that. I'll suspend your driver's license for 90 days, but I'll call a timeout. I'll give you 90 days to complete that. So just get me proof of
Okay.
that you completed it. And once you do that, I will consider it that you completed the class.
Thank you.
All right. With that, that will take care of it for this evening. Thank you. Terrell Washington. Okay. Mr. Washington, do I have your correct address at Northridge Terrace in Madison?
Yep.
All right. You received a citation for a violation of GDL restrictions. You know what? You understand what violation of CDL restrictions is?
Yep.
Or GDL. GDL, my apologies. You understand GDL restrictions?
Yeah.
All right. Forfeiture on this is $124 and 3 points. GL restrictions, the forfeiture range on this is $0 to $200. So you're at $50 plus cost. You're about a quarter way up the scale. Any questions for the court?
Could there be community service for this?
Okay. Why do you need community service?
Like to pay it off?
Okay. Normally I don't. And how old are you, sir?
16.
Okay. But you're considered an adult for traffic. Normally, I don't consider community service for adults, but are you still in high school?
Yeah.
And are you working?
Yeah.
Okay, where do you work at?
The Jet Room.
What's the Jet Room?
Oh, it's a restaurant in Madison.
Okay. And why would you want to request community service instead of paying the forfeiture?
It's easier for me.
Okay. All right, normally, okay, yeah, I would allow community service for that. No, I usually don't have people ask, but I think given your age and circumstances, I think that'd be acceptable then. The community service requirements I would have, though, are as follows. It can't be work that you normally get paid for. It's got to be for a not-for-profit agency, and you've got to get your supervisor to sign off and send it to me. You understand that?
Yep.
Okay. And normally I have a list, but those are Stoughton specific. But what I can do then is, as long as it's for not-for-profit, you don't get paid, and it's work that you normally don't do, I'll give you a form. Or should we, oh, you got it? Okay. We'll give you a form, have your supervisor sign off on that for the community service and send that to me, and I'll consider that. I give credit at $8 an hour. It'd be 16 hours.
All right.
Okay? Any other questions to the court?
No.
Now's the time I take your plea. Your 3 plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty. You want me to explain each of those?
Does a community service? It doesn't matter which one I pick for community service.
It could be either no contest or guilty plea. No contest means basically you don't want to contest, but you're not contesting it, but you're not admitting guilt. Guilty plea means you're admitting guilt.
It's guilty.
Okay. You understand with a guilty plea, I must find you guilty?
Yeah.
Well, let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Having the police part, I do find a factual basis, I'll accept your guilty plea and find you guilty. I'll impose a forfeiture of $124, 3 demerit points issued your driver's license. I will find that you're eligible for community service, 16 hours. I'll give you the forms for that. How much, I'll give you 90 days to complete the community service. When you complete that, whoever you do the super community service through, just have them complete the form and send it to me at the address listed on the form.
All right.
Any questions for the court?
No.
All right, I'll have the bailiff give these documents to you, and that will take care of it this evening then. Thank you. Susan Rice. Evening, Miss Wilson. Ms. Rice, do I have your correct address on Creedeman Drive in Stoughton?
Yes.
What is your correct address?
Yeah,
It is your
that's
correct
right.
address. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you then. Okay. All right, Ms. Rice, we have a few three citations. Let me cover first one. Been cited for possession of drug paraphernalia. Do you understand what possession of drug paraphernalia is?
Yes.
All right. That citation carries a penalty of $187. Basically, drug paraphernalia has a forfeiture range of $50 to $1,000. You're at $100 plus costs. So you're on the low end of the scale. All right. The other two citations were, first one was for operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of an intoxicant. This citation carries the following penalties. It carries a penalty of an $861 forfeiture, 6 demerit points issued your driver's license, a 6 to 9 month driver's license revocation. Okay. Okay. The 6 to 9 month driver's license revocation is dependent on blood alcohol content. And I note that the other citation you have, and he had possession of drug paraphernalia, is controlled substance. For controlled substance, there's no measure. So what I do is if there's no bad driving, it's 6 months. And if there's bad driving, I have a 7-month driver's license revocation on that. Okay. It requires that you also, if you're found guilty, attend an alcohol and drug assessment class. And in addition, if your blood alcohol content was a 1.5 or higher for alcohol, I have to order an interlock ignition device be installed in your vehicles. In addition, if there was a blood draw, I must surcharge you $62.82. Okay, did you understand all those range of penalties?
Yeah.
Okay. You've also been cited for operating with a controlled substance. That carries the same penalties, $861, 6 points, 6 to 7 month driver's license revocation, AODA requirements, and a mandatory blood draw fee of $62.82. However, I can find you guilty on both, but only impose penalties on one set of those citations. In other words, you'd be facing for those two, both citation lists $861. I can only fine you $861 and not the $1,700. Okay, so, all right. Any questions regarding these OWI, these citations?
No, but I would like to say that I'm in counseling right now, so just to throw that out.
You what?
I'm in counseling right now.
Oh, you're in counseling right now? Okay. But that doesn't really affect your plea for right now. So,
Okay.
So
Okay.
the three plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
No contest.
You understand that with a no contest plea, I must find you guilty?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Okay. I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis for your no contest plea. I'll accept your no contest plea and find you guilty. Okay, anything you'd like to say before I sign on a sentence?
No.
Okay. I do find, well, I found you guilty both of the OWI, operating while under the influence, operating with a controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I found the forfeiture appropriate for the drug paraphernalia, and I'll fine you $187 for that. I will find I found you guilty, but I'll impose the penalties. I will note that there was no bad driving. So I will fine you the $861, 6-month driver's license revocation. 6 points will be assessed against your driver's license, and you have to attend an alcohol and drug assessment, which sounds like you've already started that. And I also surcharge you $62.82 for the blood draw. So total forfeiture will be $1,110.82. How much time will you need to pay that?
Can I like set up like?
Yeah, a payment plan?
Yeah.
How much could you pay per month?
50, if that's okay.
Okay. Why don't we start with $50 and we'll monitor your progress from there. Okay, give that. I have some paperwork for you if you want to step forward and can complete that.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Rice, this is a court-ordered assessment. You have to call this number and get the process started. You can read this, and you sign where it says defendant's signature. You sign one, and I'll sign one, and you get a copy then. Yep. Yeah, correct, right there. Today is September 27th. Okay. And then sign right there as well. I'll sign this one. I will go ahead and sign that one, then we can keep that. Okay, make sure that you call this number. There's a number on here that you got to call within 72 hours, and then that way you can attend the driver safety plan, talk about the assessment, and proceed. Okay, I'll get the rest of the paperwork to you in just a second. I'm going to shut off the mic. I'm going to turn the microphone back on. All right, I'm going to give you. Okay. Okay, here's the citations I have, one for each of the three papers for each of the citation. I've given you a document called OWI assessment. Read through that and information on how to obtain an occupational license. Okay, with that. Any questions? All right, that will take care for this evening then. Thank you. Trinity Reuter. Did I pronounce your name correctly, Ms. Reuter?
You did.
Okay. Do I have your correct address on Nygaard Street in Stoughton?
Correct.
All right, Ms. Reuter, you were cited for underage drinking.
Yes.
The citation carries a penalty of $187. This is first offense?
Yes,
And you're between 17 and 20?
I am.
Okay. In addition to the $187, I can suspend your driver's license for 90 days, and I do suspend your driver's license for 90 days. However, if you complete an alcohol drug assessment or any alcohol and drug assessment or any drug and alcohol counseling, then there will be no driver's license suspension.
Okay.
I typically do that, give you 90 days to complete that and then pay for the forfeiture. So if you complete the assessment, no driver's license suspension, and then if you The fine doesn't change either way. And the reason why I do that is I want to make sure that people understand more about alcohol so I don't see them again, so there aren't any repeat offenses then.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions for the court?
No.
Now's the time I take your plea. Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
Not guilty, Your
Okay.
Honor.
When not guilty plea, will schedule the matter for a pretrial conference with the city attorney on October 18th, right? October 18th. The city attorney, will you be here? It's 2 ahead, Ms. Wilson. Is that you?
Yes.
Okay. Be meeting with Ms. Wilson in a conference room downstairs, through the second set of doors on your left to be marked a pretrial conference. Go take a look at the room before you leave. That way you're familiar with it. At the pretrial conference, it's a chance you'll meet with the city attorney to see if you'll resolve it. So bring whatever witnesses or documents might help your case. And then finally, make sure that you appear at that date and time. And if you can't make, there's a number to call to, but if you're in Stoughton, most people find it more convenient to meet there on that day. Make sure that you appear, because if you don't, Ms. Wilson will tell me you didn't appear. I'll find you in default and I'll find you guilty then.
All right.
Okay, any questions to the court?
Nope.
Once the bailiff hands you the time, they'll take care of it for this evening. Peter Mersch. How do you pronounce your name?
I'm sorry?
How do you pronounce your name?
Mersch?
Mersch, okay. Almost. Mr. Mersch, do I have your correct address on Highway 14 in Oregon?
Yes, that is correct.
You received a speeding on a city highway citation 1 to 10 miles an hour over the limit. This citation carries a penalty of $98.80 and 3 demerit points issued to your driver's license. You're the first speeding citation I've had tonight, so what I do is I usually give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway. For these 1 to 10-mile-an-hour leeway, I would be willing to amend it to defective speedometer, which would result in 2 demerit points rather than 3, same forfeiture. And you're at most of these, for the speeding, the forfeiture ranges on these are $30 to $300, and you're at $30 plus cost. You're already at the minimum forfeiture then. So, and the reason why I do that, Ms. Wilson, I've talked about this at length, and she would make the same offer at a pretrial conference, so it basically saves time to do that. Because normally I don't amend from the bench, but that's kind of an exception.
I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. So the citation would be for defective speedometer. Any questions?
No, sir.
What is your plea?
No contest.
You understand, when no contest plea, I'll read the police report, and if there's a factual basis, I'll find you guilty.
Thank you.
All right. Let me review the police report quickly. Okay, I reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, except your no contest plea, and find you guilty of defective speedometer. 2 points, 347.41, and it would be 98.80. How much time do you need to pay the 98.80?
If there's someone available to take it tonight, I can take care of it now.
I'll give you 30 days, but you can take this sheet and take it to the dispatch window downstairs.
Okay.
And it's just, if you turn it in and say 98.80, here's the check amount. They'll be able to accept your payment then.
Thank you so much.
It'll be a minute.
That's fine.
I sometimes overwhelm Mary a little bit, so, especially with 24 initial appearances. Okay. I don't have the rest. That's the last one I have. Okay. Detective Hill, I don't know who came in next. I don't know either. Whoever, I'm through the end of my list. Whoever came next, then, if you step forward. Go ahead, why don't you go ahead. Name, please.
Gibson, Tristan.
Thank you. One of the few people that, normally people mumble and I can't hear them, so thank you for enunciating that clearly.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Gibson, do I have your correct address in Stoughton Road in Madison?
No, it should be 2901 Curry Parkway, apartment 17.
Hang on a second, let me find your spot. It was Gibson, stay again, 29 what?
2901 Curry Parkway, apartment 17. C-U-R-R-Y, yes, ma'am.
And then what apartment number?
17.
What city?
Madison,
Zip?
53713.
Okay, thank you. All right, you received a citation for speeding on a city highway. You probably heard the last gentleman.
Yes, sir.
I give 10-mile-an-hour leeway, so I reduce that to defective speedometer,
All right.
which would be 2 points instead of 3.
Awesome.
Same forfeitures.
Awesome.
All right. To the amended citation of defective speedometer, what is your plea?
Guilty.
Okay. You understand with a guilty plea, I must find you guilty?
Yes, sir.
Let me read the police report for a
All right.
factual basis. Okay, I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis, accept your guilty plea and find you guilty to defective speedometer, contrary to 347.41, and that would be 98.80.
All right.
How much time would you need to pay for that?
I can. Do you guys allow payments online or?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Because if it's on there, perfect. Yeah, I can pay it online tonight then.
Okay. I'll give you 30 days to make sure that you take care of that.
Thank you, sir.
We'll go ahead and do that. And once you get the
And you said 2 points instead of 3?
2 points, correct.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. The second awesome I've had for a traffic citation tonight. Whoever was next? Name, please.
Moreland Jeffrey.
Mr. Moreland, do you have your correct address in Heather Lane in Oregon?
That's correct.
All right. Non-registration auto, have you updated the registration?
Yes, I have.
All right, you want to show it to the city attorney?
Sorry, do you have your citation with you?
I actually do.
Thank you. Okay.
Is everything in order?
Everything is in order, Your Honor.
City, have a motion for me?
Is it just the registration
Yeah.
citation? City moves to dismiss.
Okay. Based upon the city's motion, the city, or the court will dismiss your citation. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
They'll take care of it then. Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah, thank you for asking. I should have stated otherwise. All right.
I've got bad allergies, so I've been like clarifying everything.
I never
today.
get allergies this time of year, but lately I have. So the pollen count must be really high.
Yeah.
Hi.
I have a speeding ticket, Luann Volkman, L-O-U-A-N-N.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
My voice is funny today. L-O-U-A-N-N, Volkman, V as in Victor, O-L-K-M-A-N-N.
I see, Ms. Volkman. Okay, Ms. Volkman, do I have your correct address at Jefferson Street in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right, you've been cited for speeding on a city highway, 1 to 10 miles an hour over. Citation carries a penalty of $98.80 and $98.80, 3 demerit points issued to your driver's license. I give it 10-mile-an-hour leeway, so I would amend this to defective speedometer, which would be 2 points and same forfeiture of $98.80.
That's fine.
Okay. What's your plea to defective speedometer?
I'm guilty.
Okay. Understand with a guilty plea, I must find you guilty?
Yes.
Let me read the police report so I can establish a factual basis. Okay, I have reviewed the police report. I do accept your guilty plea, and I'll find you guilty of defective speedometer, contrary to 347.41, forfeiture of $98.80. Ms. Volkman, how much time do you need to pay that?
Could I have 30 days?
Absolutely. I'll give you 30 days to pay for that. Make sure that you pay within the 30 days, because if you don't, I can suspend your driver's license for a year, and I can send your state collections. I'd rather not do that. So if you need more time, just there's a number on there you can call.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Volkman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks. Yeah, that's fine. Ms. Ward? Let me say that again. Delinda Ward? Okay, Ms. Ward, you're here on a motion to reopen. You put it inadvertently, missed court date on August 27th for possession of THC case. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you believe you have a defense to the citation?
Yes.
Okay. City's position on a motion to reopen on initial court date on August 27th?
No objection, Your
Okay.
Honor.
I'll go ahead and grant your motion to reopen. I'll sign it today's date. Okay, we'll go ahead and enter a not guilty plea for you. You have a pretrial conference on October 11th at 4:45 p.m. I'll give the documents. I'll give that to you. I keep the green form, right? Yeah, thank you. You guys have trained me well. All right. Pre-trial conference is held, Ms. Ward, is held downstairs through the second set of doors. It'll be on your left. It'll be a conference room marked pre-trial conference. I always suggest that people go take a look at the room before they leave. That way they know where to find it. Make sure that you appear, because if you don't appear, the city attorney will tell me that you didn't appear. I'll find you in default, and I'll find you guilty, and I'll impose that with the forfeiture again. It'll be much harder to reopen a second time.
Okay.
So, and then chance to tell your side. You meet with the city attorney to see if you can resolve the citation. It's a chance to tell your side of the story. So bring whatever documents or witnesses might help your case then.
All right.
All right. Any further questions?
No, I don't believe so.
All right. That'll take care of it for this evening then. Thank you. Pre-trial conferences? You look like you were as busy. I didn't see you until 6, so I assume that you had lots of them today too.
Yeah, I trying to do a while with
Okay.
those folks.
Oh, yeah, 4 to 6 weeks, yeah, they're already. I mean, they have the option to stay, the suspension and all that, and I've gotten, I think in 5 years, I've gotten 2 requests to stay, so. And usually by an attorney.
It's such a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
that Hard to catch.
Good. Okay. Shall. Yay. Set to graduate on a truancy citation. Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, did your grandson?
I really appreciate the kids that come in and just say, I just had an attitude. And, you know, it's just honest.
Oh, yeah. Did. Approved.
To complete it. Their ALJ.
Oh, good. Okay. I found that people, I do the alcohol assessment, this driver's license suspension unless they complete the alcohol assessment. I found that people that come here are usually very interested in that, and I think that's why they appear. So it seems to be working. Yeah, that's not a surprise.
And this is the one that was scheduled for trial. You haven't seen the letter. It's
Oh.
attached.
Okay.
Your Honor, I didn't put this in the letter, but there was some question as to possession
Okay.
as well.
I figured.
So
we have to default everybody, but anything else from the city?
Nothing further.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wilson.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Detective Hill. All right, you ready? Mary Adams is a default judgment. Ty Michael Annan, default judgment on both citations. Michael Bailey is a bond forfeiture. Alex Baker is a default judgment. Thing is I almost think I was starting court earlier, but if there's no trials on it, it's 6:30. I feel bad, but this one worked out because all the people that waited were all the speeders who break. So.
And you know your limit is actually $10,000. That
Oh.
was increased to
I did not know that.
13.
Okay, thank you. Well. So.
So I don't know if for that one, if you. It's kind of a sketchy story.
Yeah, I'm not gonna order restitution, but set up for restitution hearing.
Oh, if they request it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or did they actually? She did request it.
Okay.
So I'll say.
Yeah. I'm sorry for overwhelming you at times, but I want to make sure that people start to get restless after about a half hour. I don't want them to be any more surly than they can be, so. Stephen Baraboo, default judgment of both citations. Jose Barajas is a default judgment. Wow, 10 grand all the way up to small claims level. Huh. Makes sense, I guess. Autumn Benson is a default judgment. Bradley Marion Benson is a default judgment on both citations. Parbu Biswa is a default judgment on both citations. Alana Bollig is a default judgment. Cassandra Borneman is a default judgment. Danielle Borchot is a default judgment. Tommy Brand is a default judgment. Ryan Brockner is a bond forfeiture. Russell Bird is a default judgment. Derek Campbell is a default judgment on both citations. Cody Kennedy is a default judgment. Guy Cardamone is a default judgment. Christopher Carpenter is a default judgment. David Cousy is a default judgment. Lucas Christofferson is a default judgment on both citations. 3 citations, excuse me. Dean Salufo is a bond.
The citations were for the tenant and the others for Stoughton.
Oh, I get it. So we'll default Lucas Christofferson both for Pleasant Springs and for Stoughton. I was wondering why there was the notation there. Okay. Dean Salufo is a bond forfeiture. Braven Clark is a default judgment. Monterey Clement is a bond forfeiture. Craig Colby is a bond forfeiture on both citations. Channel Coleman is a default judgment. Travis Coulter is a default judgment. James Davis is a default judgment on all 4 citations. Bonnie Detweiler is a bond forfeiture. Joey Diaz Barnett is a default judgment on both citations. Stephen Fortney is a bond forfeiture. Terry Fredenberg is a default judgment on all 3 citations. German Garcia Ramos. German Garcia Ramos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Defaults on all 6 citations. Sharika Gary, default judgment on all 3 citations. Chad Gilding is a bond forfeiture. Reinardo Glenn is a default judgment. I see on Chad Gilding, did I say default? I meant bond forfeiture. Reinardo Glenn is a default judgment. Natasha Grant is a bond forfeiture. Norman Green is a bond forfeiture. James Hammis is a default judgment on both citations. Stephen Hayneck is a default judgment. Graham Harrison is a default judgment. Kenneth Haugen is a bond forfeiture. Matthew Heller is a default judgment. Wendy Hesgard is a bond forfeiture. Shauna Hess is a default judgment. Michaela Hins is a default judgment. Lana Hortland is a default judgment. Judith Hoffman is a default judgment. Elizabeth Hutchins is a default judgment on both citations. Alexander Jacobson is a default judgment. Ashley Johnson is a default judgment. James Johnson is a default judgment on both citations. Monica Johnson is a default judgment. Jessica Jones is a default judgment. Daniel Kelsey is a default judgment. Stephen Nickmeyer is a bond forfeiture on both citations. Richard Knipfer is a default judgment. David Kroll is a default judgment. Jacob Larson is a default judgment. Thaddeus Lenoir is a default judgment. Ryan Likeness is a default judgment. Joseph Lenoir is a default judgment on both citations. It's just way same name was spelled completely different. Yeah, one doesn't have a space, so they were off. I'll note that it's not the same. It's not the same person. Gabriel Lulinski is a bond forfeiture. Amy Lynch is a bond forfeiture. Zachary Ashton Lynn is a default judgment. Christy Moss is a default judgment. Adriana Mock is a default judgment. Michael McCauley is a default judgment. Austin McGuire is a default judgment. Megan McKinney is a default judgment. Marcia McKnight is a default judgment. Rickia Miles is a default judgment. Rachel Miller is a default judgment. Demetrius Mitchell is a default judgment. Justin Neerdals is a default judgment. Rolando Oates is a default judgment. James O'Connell was a bond forfeiture. Eric Olson is a default judgment. Jace Olson is a default judgment. Sergio Orozco Baraja, Sergio Orozco Barragan is a default judgment. Never learned to control my R's. Oleka Parker is a default judgment. John Parlapiano is a default judgment on both citations. Katrina Thelma Jean Petrovsky is a default judgment on both citations. Whitney Pope is a default judgment on both citations. Megan Price is a default judgment. Stephen Reedy is a default judgment. Nicole Rice is a default judgment. Jennifer Riddle is a default judgment. Adrian Rodriguez is a bond forfeiture. Carlos Romero Tejada is a bond forfeiture. Angela Rummelhoff is a default judgment. Adelita Maria Salinas is a default judgment, and I'll impose a forfeiture of $250 on the operating after suspension, and also default her on the operating motor vehicle without insurance. Galas Sam is a default judgment. So Galas Sam is a bond forfeiture. Thomas Schmierling is a bond forfeiture. Brent Schulenberg is a default judgment. Joseph Seichter is a default judgment. Carter Smith is a default. Is it default? Yeah. Default judgment. Candace Smithson is a default judgment. Stephanie Stevan is a default judgment. Randall Steinberg is a default judgment. Marcella Stenjem is a bond forfeiture. Mark Seward is a bond forfeiture. Susan Strandley is a default judgment. Nikira Divine Suggs is a default judgment. Shane Oliver Sutley is a default judgment in Stoughton. Shane Oliver Sutley is a default judgment in Town of Pleasant Springs. Same thing. Calls. Stephen Swenson is a default judgment.
I don't know. They didn't really give an amount or estimates.
I will not order restitution. If they want, they can order a restitution hearing. Rebecca Symes is a default judgment. William Paul Tallman is a default judgment. John Tarala is a bond forfeiture. Rebecca Theis is a default judgment. James Thompson is a bond forfeiture. Tatum Elise Tierney Osterloth is a bond forfeiture. Rosa Van is a default judgment. Bradley Veek is a bond forfeiture. And Anthony Victor is a default judgment. Stacy Vitens is a default judgment on both citations. Nicholas Folden is a default judgment. Braxton Walton is a default judgment on all 6 citations. Pisces Watson is a default judgment. Do we have one? I'll order restitution of $47 in addition to the theft citation. Kimberly Weitzel is a bond forfeiture on all 5 citations. Jason Whitley is a default judgment. Rachel Workman is a default judgment. Grayman Young is a default judgment on both citations. Timothy William Joseph Youngin is a default judgment. Lynn Zamudio is a default judgment. Paul Zeke is a bond forfeiture. Anything else? Court is adjourned. Thank you.